Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this broadcast. Thank you so much for your continued support that you always offer to this channel. Actually, it is so amazing. We are on our road trip to 10,000 subscribers. Now, President Ruto is under siege. Clergies turn out in large numbers, demanding his administration to explain to Kenyans the loan amount remaining because he had gone to China to borrow another loan. And today's political analysis or observation, we want to find out, why do you think clergies are now saying that they are tired of loans? And let's watch this video before I proceed.
We are sad when we see our leaders going out of our country to negotiate for more debt, for more loans. Although sometimes they are called grants, we know that they are loans. And when we get to repaying them, they are very heavy on our economy. Can we try to be self-reliant using the resources in the country and avoid borrowing? We have so many odious debts in our Kenyan economy books. We need to be informed how many debts we have, the magnitude of the debt. Sometimes we are not sure. We need to be made aware because we are the people to pay those debts, the taxpayers, through our own resources. Therefore, they need to be made public so that we may know how much we owe, the progress we are making in repayment, but even know how such money has been used, because we have mentioned corruption. Could it be that some of the money we borrowed was misused, was misappropriated? Therefore, the debate should go into our National Assembly, but also be made public so that we can engage and know how much we owe. And no debts should be borrowed, of course, without involvement of Parliament. We know that previously debts have been borrowed and Parliament has not been involved, sometimes done by the executive alone. Because these debts belong to Kenyans and Parliament is where Kenyans are represented, those debts ought to be discussed there. But again, we also need to be involved because you know our new constitution that we promulgated in 2010 encourages public participation. Therefore, there is nothing for us without us. You don't borrow money that you will not repay yourself and not get to share the information. On gambling, PCA very early in the formation of its own constitution discouraged gambling. If you read our constitution, it highly discourages gambling. It encourages hard work, that people should toil because that is what we are required to do. But this new phenomenon where people think they can make money out of gambling, one or two make, we are not told the story of those who have spent their resources, sold their pieces of land, sold their vehicles, almost mortgaged their families because they want to make money and they have lost big. Divorce has happened in families because money was lost in gambling. And as you have mentioned, mental health becomes an issue because the moment you lose such money, you get into stress. It gets into depression. It even gets beyond there. Therefore, much as we know that there are people who are doing business by gambling, there should be strict laws. Particularly, anybody below a certain age should not participate. And even the adverts for that should be limited. Like we know, this country became very successful in its fight against smoking. If you travel to some countries, particularly in the West, you find that smoking is still a problem. But because our country became very intentional in fighting smoking, smoking has gone down. So gambling can also go down. I know those who are in that business may not like this, but I'm not saying anything new that the PCA has not said before. We discourage it because it's causing a lot of suffering to our people.
You've watched and listened to the video clip, ladies and gentlemen, and it is what we want to discuss today. You see, Ruto is now facing it. what goes round comes round. He talked about Uhuru Kenyatta borrowing loan is now being demanded to come out as a president and tell Kenyans the loan amount Kenyans ought to pay. Just the other day, Mbadi said that Kenya is no longer having loan. But why there is change of tone from churches? The same president visits churches, he donates millions of money, but now clergies are coming out and saying, no, it is too much. We will not accept it. That is the reality, and it remains fact. Number one, they are disappointed. They are disappointed. We borrow loan and there are some places still no development. The number two, we borrow loan to enrich ourselves. Remember yesterday in the afternoon, I talked about corruption, and I said that the reason why this government is facing all these challenges is because we are approaching election, and RUTO had to rush to China to borrow this loan. After that, if it is 20 billion, he might even pocket 5 billion, enough for him to campaign. Because for you to successfully complete your campaign period as a president, you ought to use roughly 1-2 billion to run all over the country. Now look at this change of tone. Clergies are saying no. We must know the take. We must know why this government is taking this loan, and they must tell us the balance. Before even I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching me for the first time in this broadcast, I request you kindly do me a favor. Take a 1 second, click that notification bell and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like my video, watch, share, and give us your opinion. I know some of you are still correcting me on the light. I'm still processing. I will soon have a good light, but the problem is camera. The camera is the problem. The phone, the camera I'm using is what is making us, sometimes we get bright, sometimes we get it this way. But just bear with me as much as I'm passing this information. So the only message I can give to government, there's nothing bad taking loan. We are all human beings. We need to develop, which is fine. As a country, if our country is not capable to raise 2 billion, 3 billion, we must borrow. That is the reality. But how long will Kenyans pay this loan? You take a loan, then you benefit, you make this loan to grow. You get the fact? For instance, today if I give one of you 10,000 Kenyan shilling, you might make a decision to start any business. Kama ni ile kibanda kidogo uanze, kila mwezi unalipa kitu kidogo, kama ni 200, it's well and fine, as long as you are paying that loan. As long as you are paying that loan. So that is why we are having a lot of challenges. We borrow loan, RUTO ametoa pesa, MP anaichukua, governor anaichukua, MC anaichukua. Hawa wadogo pia wanaichukua. So that is why clergies are now saying they must know the balance and stop taking loan. We are tired of this loan. They have won William RUTO, and there's change of tone. Immediately RUTO had jetted out of this country to go and borrow loan in Beijing, China. So that is what is happening. I think again they are blocking William RUTO based on his donation, which he normally practice in churches every Sunday. Today he give 1 million, 100 million, 2 million, 3 million. So they are trying to block him and saying, we don't want your money. Let us depend on ourselves, because we believe the money you are taking, you borrow, then it is not bringing any profit to any Kenyan citizen. So RUTO is in ICU as things are boiling nicely. Ladies and gentlemen, give us your opinion at the comment section below. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.